Howdy y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're kicking off an incredible backpacking adventure in the Guadalupe Mountains of West Texas. Over the next few days we'll tackle winding trails, rugged canyons, and explore historic Wiliams Ranch. We'll also hike routes established more than a century ago like the Butterfield Stagecoach Road and Kincaid Trail. With breathtaking views, tough terrain, and rich history, this is one adventure you won't want to miss. We're currently at a private campsite that can be reserved through hipcamp.com, which is a website for booking unique outdoor stays. I guarantee you won't find a spot with a better view of El Capitan than this one. This property, called the Good Guad Land Company, is incredible, and I can't thank the owner enough for letting me park my Tahoe here for the next 2 evenings. We're gonna finish our hike right here, but for now, I've got about a mile hike to the highway where I'm meeting my hiking partner and shuttle to the visitor center. I'd like to introduce y'all to my hiking partner for this trip, Cameron Hall. It was just a few years ago I had never been on a backpacking trip, and that's when I discovered Cameron's YouTube channel full of videos from out here in the Guads, and it was those videos that sparked my passion for outdoor adventure. And if you had told me back then when I was binge watching his videos that I'd be meeting up with him, hauling 2 days of water across El Cap to explore the western escarpment of the Guads, I'd have called you crazy, but here we are, and that's why I'm grinning like a possum eating a sweet potato. This looks like a water trough that was probably used during the Guadalupe Mountain Ranch days. I've come across a dip tank used for tick removal from sheep and goats not very far from here. Well, we've been steadily climbing for, it feels like at least 600 feet. Cameron's putting a hurting on me, putting his foot down on the accelerator. We're right below El Cap. Whew, this 30-pound pack is putting a whooping on me, but we'll get her done. Pine Springs claims to be the windiest city in Texas. It might be, but I don't think it's as windy as this point right here. We're lucky it's not a very windy day. Cameron's putting in the tough work to go check out Goat Spring, see if there's any water. I'm gonna drop down into Shumard Canyon here. Long ways down to go. You may be able to see Cameron right there in the center of the shot, making his way down. I couldn't tell you where, but somewhere I got coordinates, GPS coordinates for Tanaha. And it's pretty dry this year, but looky here, we found water. So did all the flies. And this isn't, I bet you it's less than 3/10 of a mile from the trail right back that direction. Cameron brought a bag and a filter, so I'm gonna try to let him know that there's some water here. Don't look the greatest, but I mean, that's water nonetheless. I don't know what's in there. I wouldn't be surprised if some fat bear was up there eating and snapped that limb. And now I gotta find a way around the trail without falling. Oh, great. Some light trail work here, guys. These boulders are real easy to move. Make it easy for us to get across this scree field. That's pretty impressive. Just about to the bottom of the canyon. Thank goodness. It's about as much downhill as my knees can handle today. Home. Well, guys, made it to camp and I found me a tent pad. But I'm out of juice, so we're gonna have to rejuvenate for a little bit before I put this tent up and walk over to Wiliams Ranch. We got plenty of daylight, so no big hurry. And I can see on El Capitan, it's called the mitten. The thumb of the mitten, I can see it barely. That's it right up there. Pretty cool. Cameron should be to camp here pretty soon, and we'll go check in with him. Built in 1908, the Wiliams Ranch house was originally settled by Henry Belcher, who established a longhorn ranching operation. By 1917, the property had been transferred to Dolph Wiliams, who raised cattle, sheep, and goats, and farmed on a small scale with his friend Geronimo Segura. Facing economic hardship, Wiliams was pressured by the bank to sell his land in 1941. The ranch would eventually be purchased by County Judge J.C. Hunter. Described as a dynamic and shrewd businessman, Hunter moved to Van Horn in 1911 to serve as superintendent of schools and later served as county treasurer, county judge, and the director and vice president of the Van Horn State Bank. During the 1920s oil and gas boom, Hunter made his fortune, and from his offices in Abilene, also served as president of the Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Commission. In the early 1920s, Hunter partnered with Matt Grisham to explore oil in the Trans-Pecos region. They drilled many exploration wells that often came up dry. Despite these setbacks, Hunter developed an interest in the mountains and began acquiring land. Within a few years, he had purchased thousands of acres from small landholders, bankrupt homesteaders, ranchers, and the state. This land acquisition practice introduced him to Wallace Pratt, a petroleum geologist and the second largest landholder in the area. In the mid-1920s, Pratt and Hunter raced to buy sections of McKittrick Canyon, with Hunter often outmaneuvering Pratt, purchasing the best sections of the canyon. In January 1934, Superintendent of Yellowstone National Park Roger Toll toured the western side of the Guadalupe Range with landowner J.C. Hunter to explore the possibility of creating a national park. Despite efforts to research ownership and contact various landowners, many were unwilling to sell property to the federal government. Hunter offered to sell the 42,300 acres held by Grisham Hunter Corporation to the federal government for $237,600 for the express purpose of creating a national park. The sale didn't materialize, however. Toll became interested in the possibility of turning the Hunter property into a detached unit of nearby Carlsbad Caverns National Park. Political motivation fluctuated, and logistical problems kept the idea on the back burner for decades.
I'm forever out riding upon the range of my mind, dreaming away all of my time. Cattle calls and canyon walls, the jangle of spurs. At the light of dawn, put the saddle on, start moving the herd. The distant horizons are a glorious sight, and there's getting lost in the Milky Way at night. I got a lightning lasso and my trusty horse blue. I've got a 6-shooter too. I have an old Stetson hat and a shaggy mustache. Yes, I'm at home on the range. Tumbleweed and buffalo, the rivers run wild. Sunset over rolling hills, a ghost rider sky. A campfire song has me feeling just right. Yeah, I'm getting lost in the Milky Way tonight. Down on the sidewalk, life passes me by. I've been too slow for these times, but now you'll be knowing if you look in my eyes. I'm a cowboy 'neath faraway skies. Ooh, ooh, yippee-yi-yi. I'm a cowboy 'neath faraway skies.
Well, that's going to do it for day one. I'll see y'all in the morning. Good morning, y'all. Our hike today will take us through a rarely explored section of the park, untouched by most visitors. We'll follow a network of historic roads and trails, including the Butterfield Stagecoach Road and the Kincaid Trail. Some of these paths date back over a century. Their faint traces and overgrown routes provide a window into the past. Though nature has reclaimed much of the land, the remnants of these roads guide us, making our journey across the desert both navigable and filled with hidden discoveries. I think we found the rest of that car. Man.
Think that's where that fender came from?
I don't know, because that... This faint trail labeled Kincaid on the USGS map honors Noel Kincaid, one of the unsung heroes behind the creation of Guadalupe Mountains National Park. While information about the trail is limited, Kincaid's life and legacy are central to the region's history. Born in Dog Canyon, Kincaid's family arrived in 1912 by covered wagon after traveling west from a small town north of Dallas. Raised with 4 brothers and 3 sisters, he developed a deep connection to the mountains. Kincaid briefly attempted to establish his own ranch near the Rio Grande and later between the towns of La Mesa and Seminole. Facing financial struggles, he had to work as a cotton picker until 1931. He then relocated back to southeast New Mexico where he met his wife. Kincaid married into the Cox family, gaining invaluable knowledge about ranching life and the regional economy. When J.C. Hunter purchased the Cox family ranch, Kincaid's expertise made him the ideal candidate to manage Hunter's Guadalupe Mountain Ranch. With his strong ties to the area, close relationships with local ranchers, and deep appreciation for rural life, Kincaid was not only crucial to the success of Hunter's operation, but also a pivotal figure in the history of the Guadalupe Mountains. To manage the ranch's considerable costs, Hunter diversified in 3 ways. First, he leased sections of the ranch to oil and gas companies. Second, he expanded the livestock on the ranch to include sheep and goats, which were more resilient than cattle to the region's harsh arid conditions. Finally, he transformed the ranch into a hunting preserve, importing elk, turkey, and various trout for recreational purposes. The Hunter family continued to run the Guadalupe Mountain Ranch for over 20 years, even while J.C. Hunter served as mayor of Abilene. Pure Oil Company applied for a permit to the Railroad Commission of Texas to drill a well on the property of Eloise Hunter, and drilling began on June 20th, 1947. Upon reaching a depth of 6,650 feet on May 5th, 1949, the well proved to be a dry hole and was partially plugged for use as a water well. Pure Well, as it is known today, rests on a flattened terrace blasted from the steep western flank 3,000 feet below the summit of Bartlett Peak. This abandoned well stands as a testament to repeated, unsuccessful efforts to locate oil in the Guadalupe Mountains, even by a family dedicated to preserving its landscape. Getting material and equipment to this location would be a challenge today. Nearly 80 years ago, their solution was to mount a Fordson tractor onto a reinforced concrete foundation and convert it into a hoist. The setup used a looped 1¼ inch steel braided cables to drag materials and equipment up the road. The early days of oil exploration were marked by remarkable ingenuity, as wildcatters devised innovative ways to drill exploration wells. With limited technology, it was their determination and resourcefulness that made the impossible possible. While many historical accounts credit Wallace Pratt for initiating the movement to create a park in the Guadalupe Mountains, J.C. Hunter had been advocating for the preservation of the range as early as the 1920s. As he acquired most of the land that would become the present-day park, he protected its natural resources in the hope that the state would eventually purchase the land and preserve it. J.C. Hunter passed away in 1945. But his son, J.C. Hunter Jr., inherited the ranch and followed in his father's footsteps. He continued acquiring land until the family ranch expanded to 72,000 acres. Like his father, J.C. Jr. shared a deep commitment to conservation and continued to dream of seeing the Guadalupe Mountains protected. Some folks may question the decision to allow such a remarkable property to become an oil lease. But Guadalupe Mountains National Park owes much of its existence to the Hunter family's efforts. Like all of us, they face difficult choices, but those decisions should not overshadow their significant contributions. I'm grateful to the Hunter family for preserving the land with care until it was eventually purchased by the federal government in 1969. Well, looks like they're working on Wiliams Ranch Road. Well, we made it back to the tent. We were treated with a spectacular sunset. Beautiful day in the Guads. That's gonna do it for day 2. I'll see y'all in the morning. Well guys, 6:45 a.m. Packed up and ready to go. Maybe able to make Cameron's light up the hill. Ready to go check out Wiliams Ranch house one more time and head on out. It's been a heck of a trip.
Until next time. Not sure when it'll be. Love coming out here.
Established in 1858 by transportation entrepreneur John Butterfield, the Butterfield Overland Mail route ran from St. Louis, Missouri to San Francisco, California. Spanning nearly 2,800 miles across the southern United States, the route was primarily designed to deliver mail, with passenger service as a secondary function. The trail passed through harsh and varied landscapes, including deserts, mountains, and vast plains. The stagecoach journey, which took about 25 days to complete, was critical for communication and trade at a time when other forms of long-distance travel were limited. Despite the numerous challenges, such as severe weather and threats from outlaws and Native American tribes, the Butterfield Overland Trail became a symbol of perseverance and expansion of the American frontier. Woo! Well, that's a wrap on our backpacking adventure at Guadalupe Mountains National Park. We tackled some rough country, soaked in some jaw-dropping views, and explored a part of Texas that's as rich in history as it is natural beauty. From rugged Shumard Canyon to historic Wiliams Ranch house, this trip was everything I hoped for and more. Thanks so much for joining us on this incredible journey. I hope you enjoyed the adventure as much as we did. Please be sure to check out Cameron's channel. You'll be entertained, and who knows, you might even get inspired. Don't forget to like the video and drop me a comment. Have you ever gone camping in the Guadalupe Mountains? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.